ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Hi, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon. Welcome to the Roundtable. You're listening to us on the Broadway Podcast Network, or you're watching us right here on the Roundtable on YouTube. I am a proud teaching artist at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center right here in Brick City, Newark, New Jersey. Stand up. And I know that TD Bank and the NJPAC and all of it put on the jazz program. NJPAC, Mark Gross, and the jazz program for students is killer, top-notch program here in the state of New Jersey. I'm honored to be a part of that team. And then Tyreek McDole comes out swinging with this bass voice that, I don't even know. He could work forever because he's got that voice, and judged and wins by people like Patty Austin and our friend Jane Monheit. Winner right here. Tyreek McDole is in the welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Better sing. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So looking at this, 280 submissions, 37 countries. What did you submit, and what made you submit? What was the thought process behind being a part of this?
Sure. I've been trying to get into the competition for a number of years now, actually. This isn't my first attempt. This year I just submitted tunes that are highlighting a lot of my strengths. I feel like one of my strengths is singing ballads and telling stories very slowly. Another strength of mine is the blues. And just generally, if it swings, I feel like that's a strength of mine. So I decided to go with material that I know very well, that I've been singing for a number of years, such as Every Day I Have the Blues. I submitted September in the Rain, and I submitted Lush Life. So all the music that I sang at the competition was also submitted.
Well, you are such a chill cat. Like, you are just a jazz guy, and I love it. He's just laying here in the cut, and then he's gonna get up there and scoopity bop bop ba bop, and I'm here for all of it. You have really manifested this incredible career. I was looking at you on social media. You're booked now around the country. I mean, we're gonna put this up and out, but I mean, if it's Jersey or if it's in I'm looking at dates for California, across this whole entire country now, you're booked. I just saw, Theo Crocker, you and him on stage in New York at the Blue Note. One of the most amazing instrumentalists out there here in the day. You're a baby. What are you, 23 years old?
I'm 23.
Oh, what does it feel like for this all to go from practicing, studying, recording, listening, to now putting it in motion and really gaining some traction and getting out here with people who you've admired your whole life?
Yeah, it's very jarring, and at the same time, I'm not too surprised that the fruits of my labor are finally getting to show themselves. When I was studying music, when I first was studying music, I just watched the film The Princess of Prom. That I was in the 4th grade, and I was inspired to join the band. And from there, I just kept checking out a lot of material on YouTube, because in my area of St. Cloud, Florida, there wasn't too much jazz music to be found just in the area. So I did all I could to keep researching, keep looking for who's on the scene, who do I like, who did they study with. And actually, it's funny that you bring up Theo, because he's a alum of the college that I went to. I went to Oberlin College and Conservatory. And I went after I heard his album in 2016. He dropped an album called Escape Velocity. And after I heard that, I was like, man, this guy sounds so good. How did he learn how to do all these things? So I just did a little bit of research and learned about the name Oberlin. And boom, I found myself there with a full ride.
Well, sometimes my students over at NJPAC ask me about networking and finding a way into the business, differentiating yourself from the pack of the tons of people who are trying to do this. And I always say, if you find someone you admire and you see who they work with, where they studied, who their musicians, the instrumentation, who made the arrangements. There's a way to wiggle your way into this business if you use your mind and think outside the box. And it's always two steps away. Dee Dee Bridgewater and Theo used to be on the same management team, and then I see you. I see you. Let's go. What when you got to the finals of this competition and you're at Prudential Hall at NJPAC, this gorgeous theater in the middle of Newark, and the panel of judges, Patty Austin, Jane Monheit, Liz Wright, Christian McBride, Al Pryor, who's an A&R legend if you're a music nerd like me. What was it like to get their feedback and to take it all in? And what have they said to you when it was all over?
It's interesting because not many words were exchanged besides "I told you so," or "check this out." Yeah, we actually couldn't speak with any of the judges prior to the competition. So after that, I just got a lot of comments like that, as in, yeah, we already thought that was going to be the case. But to answer your first question, I think you asked, what was it like getting that kind of feedback? I was very honored, so these folks are some of the best and brightest in the field of this particular music that we do. So to have someone like Christian McBride, who recorded so many legends that I love and appreciate, like Roy Hargrove, Victor Lewis, Betty Carter, it's not only informed, but it carries so much weight. He was on the same bandstand, on the same records as people that I love and am inspired to sing. That inspired me to sing. So, yeah, it was an honor.
When I saw this was coming and the lineup of people they had, I knew that someone special was going to win. And then to listen to your sound is beautiful. It is unique. It is something needed. It is something that I don't see out here. And I'm excited to see what you have up your sleeve. Why jazz? What was it about jazz that you could have sing anything? You could be on Broadway right now. You could make a pop album. You could do all sorts of things with your voice. You could be in an a cappella group. They need a bass somewhere. Why did you choose jazz? Or did jazz choose you?
That's an interesting point. I've always been a fan of this music. Like I said before, since I watched The Princess and the Frog, I was very inspired by just this form of Black music that came out of New Orleans. And just that got me curious about figures such as Louis Armstrong. And I started out on the trumpet. So we're talking about trumpet. I learned about Louis Armstrong, Miles Davis, Dizzy Gillespie. And then I finally saw all these heroes that actually looked like me. And I hadn't really seen that before. Yeah, they're all like, we have Superman, we have Batman, but these guys were my superheroes, all these wonderful, brilliant musicians and thinkers and artists. So, yes, I decided to start singing this music because I felt like it was the truest to who I am as a person. And I feel like this music really encourages one to celebrate who they are. Not only who they are, but to celebrate who others are as a collective. When we look at the music of Dizzy Gillespie or Nat King Cole, and there's a whole era where America is starting to get more conscious of music and culture outside of itself. So Dizzy Gillespie, or like just these folks, we had the State Department tours that were happening like in the mid to late last century. Dizzy Gillespie went to South America, and then he's communing with folks in South America studying Brazilian music and Afro-Cuban music in the Caribbean, or Louis Armstrong when he went to Africa and when he went to Egypt, or Dave Brubeck when he went to the Middle East and he recorded music like Blue Rondo a la Turk. Like it's just all these things are humanizing us and bringing us together. So that's why I love doing this music. It's the ultimate language barrier is what I found.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. It's so funny about The Princess and the Frog. My students, we did a whole medley of mashup of songs from that. It's so inspiring.
That's killing.
Because they see themselves represented by these characters. It inspires many people, especially with the sound and the music of jazz. You bring up an important point. You bring up people who were very much advocates and activists during their time, and they used music as a way of means through politics and through social change. Is that important to you as an artist? Is that something that your music is, there's always a bigger message that you're trying to get across through your art?
I think that's always the case with this music, you know. Charlie Parker wrote "Now's the Time," and then I feel we don't often talk about the history behind the compositions that a lot of these great minds created. So "Now's the Time" was written, I believe, right after he heard Martin Luther King speak. So
Mhm.
now is the time. This is like what, probably like the 40s, I believe. And if you misquote me, that's okay. We got Google.
That's right.
But we have, you know, all these compositions made to inspire others to take action. um, Horace Silver had this great band called the United States of Mind, and not only was it about politics, but it was about your spiritual health. It was about your physical health too, writing songs, you know, just to take care of oneself. It's not necessarily just for entertainment, but it could also be education. Education, edutainment is the word that I was looking for.
I'm sold. I have to come see you do a set. I go Tyreek McDole at .com, or you can go on Instagram. It's your name to follow. What has it been like to be on the road and do this music for audiences now? You're in clubs. You're performing with. What is a show like? What can we expect when we buy a ticket and come see you?
Yeah, you're gonna expect to have a really rocking good time. Um, I, I definitely love this music so much, and you know, I'm inspired by all forms of Black American music, and non-American music at that point. So, um, you're gonna hear a lot of music coming out of the diaspora, the African diaspora. So, I've studied with a lot of folks such as Weedy Brima, and he's exposed me to West African music, so that's definitely going to be implemented in my music. I grew up in Kissimmee, Florida, which has a huge Puerto Rican population, so you'll hear a lot of salsa music, son, Afro-Cuban music as well. I am of a Haitian background, so you're going to hear some of my compositions in that, and you'll expect a lot of tunes that are familiar and not so familiar tunes because a lot of the heroes that we talk about, like Horace Silver, Pharoah Sanders, Louis Armstrong, they wrote a lot of compositions that aren't necessarily that popular. But I believe it is our job as modern day artists to help, you know, revitalize those tunes in our own voice. So that's what I hope to expect, or that's what I hope to do in my own sets.
I'm just looking on your website, New York City, your debut at the Jazz Club at Alma in New York. I mean, we can grab our tickets there. You're going to be there on January 16th. So make sure you get your tickets if you have a jazz fan, if you want to see the up and come. If you want to see up and coming and you live in this world where you're hanging out of the Blue Note, or you want to go you listen to jazz or blues or that kind of feel, I'm telling you, you better get your tickets, grab them fast before they're gone. When the jazz community, the little bit that I know of the jazz community, and getting to see and interview a lot of jazz musicians. I don't sing jazz, but I sung Jane and Me have a duet on my album, things like that, where I get to sing with some of these great or have great arrangers. Because if you want good arrangements, you need to go to a jazz musician because they still write good music.
Exactly.
When it's a very small, tight knit community, and they don't just seem to let anybody walk on in. You kind of have to prove your worth and pay your dues. How has it been breaking into this scene, and who are some of the people who have kind of guided you into this world?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I feel like it really depends on your and depends on what experience you have prior to arriving into a space for it to be a little gatekeepy, that we
Mm-hmm,
might say. But
mm-hmm.
in this case, I feel like I was welcomed with open arms once I came into New York. Um, I'm lucky to have such a great support. And yeah, I had a lot of friends that went to Oberlin, and they actually let me stay at their house for a number of days, uh, just to get introduced to the New York scene. So I'm very thankful for folks like Birsa Chatterjee, Gervis Miles, Dan Finn, and Emmett Share for housing me in this space. I'm also very thankful for mentors that I met along the way, like Eric Wyatt, um, Gerald Cannon. Very thankful for people like my folks and family at Jazz at Lincoln Center who have supported me since I started singing. I actually made my debut of singing 5 years ago at Jazz at Lincoln Center's essentially Ellington program. So I'm very thankful for people like Georgina Javor, Jason O'Lane, Todd Stoll, and people like Wynton Marsalis for putting those kinds of opportunities together. Because without that, I wouldn't be in positions like that to win, other prestigious awards or even conceptualize that I might be able to have a career in music.
What you're not gonna you're doing it right now. And
Right.
99.9% of the entire world can't do a quarter of what you're able to do. That baritone voice, everybody, you need to go YouTube it up before the album, before the singles, before the whole thing, because it's coming. I smell it. I feel it in my bones. Get on top of get up on it. Get up on it. Is that the goal? Are we looking towards that? Is that in the plans down the line or sooner than later? Or what's the story?
Yeah, I am definitely seeking some folks to record with. I have a number of original compositions and compositions I'm very excited to record because I'm very special and very conceited in the fact that I choose material that many don't pick. So it's going to be very special to record this kind of material. I hope to get that accomplished within the next year or so. And yes, more of the goals would be to just keep performing and keep developing the craft. I think that if you liked what I did at the competition, it's only going to get better a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a year from now. It's going to be a completely different beast because I'm always about developing and innovating and trying to become the best artist that I can potentially be for not only my audiences, but for myself.
Well, everyone out there, go to the website, follow the information, see him in New York, see him in San Francisco, see him on the jazz cruise, see him wherever he's going to be, and get up on top of and your version of Lush Life, which is one of the most beautiful. This voice, it's this voice right here. And you know what is really impressive and wonderful as an old person like me, to you youngsters out there, your education and passion and knowing the history of this medium just shows how much respect you have for what you do. And that is so refreshing and beautiful. And I wish you nothing but the absolute best. I'm excited to see you shoot like a rocket.
I'm really appreciative of that. Thank you. I'm very thankful for all my educators for helping me get to this point.
Congratulations. The best is certainly yet to come. And I'm going to have to see you in New York. I got to see this up close and personal. I'm ready. Let's go. Yeah. Congratulations. The best to you. And we'll be watching. Everyone get to the website, follow on social media, and stay up to date so you can be ready when the music drops. And make sure you catch him when he's in your neck of the woods.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Robert. And thank you for everyone that's listening.
Oh, to be 23 and be unafraid. When I was 19, I was going to Juilliard and I dropped out of school because I was scared and I didn't sing for 15 years. So when I see someone that's 23 that's out here killing it in this scary business, but not intimidated and not worried, I also love how chill and cool he is. And then there's me, like, woo, 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 woo. That's the Roundtable for you. That's the show. We get a little bit of everybody from Broadway to jazz to TV to comedians, everything, every day here on the Broadway Podcast Network and on YouTube. I'm so excited you're here. Make sure you check out my music. Listen to me. Go ahead. It's nothing like his, but you could listen to me wherever music is heard. My album Rewind is out, and come see me December 9th at Chelsea Table and Stage. It'll be a good time. I promise you. Find more information about me. Go to robertbannon.com and follow me on Instagram at Robert M. Bannon. Say hello to all my friends on the Broadway Podcast Network. Listen to us all. We all bring a different version and different style, and it's always entertaining to be here. Wow, 23. Oh, man. I'm going to go take Advil and go take a nap. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. The best is yet to come. See, I still got a little something. Bye, everybody.